Hello again, folks. Welcome back once again to Destiny 2. We have our first TWAB for September officially up. This one is for September 3rd. Before we dive into the TWAB, just letting folks know, Solstice wraps up in a few days on the next weekly reset, this Tuesday on September 8th. So if you make it up to the Magnificent set, you can still do the final triumphs after Solstice is over. If you're on the Majestic set, you have to get it done. Otherwise, it's all over and you won't be able to reach the Magnificent set. So need to get it done extremely soon. So for the TWAB today, we're going to be talking about some evolving triumphs on how it will affect the game, along with Iron Banner and update 2.9.2 coming up this Tuesday. But first things first, triumphs. So a few weeks ago, we shared some details regarding the DCV, or Destiny Content Vault. We mentioned that you should start finishing off some triumphs that were associated with content that's going into the vault. But apparently they didn't go into details on how the seals and triumphs would be affected. So separated from the DCV, of course, we have plans to rework triumphs all up to. And of course, for the Destiny dev team, they're here to share what they plan. So here's what they said here. We're sure you have a ton of questions about triumphs, particularly what happens to triumphs once the content associated with them will go into the vault. We're now updating the triumphs on how they're going to work forward, and I want you to walk through them on how everything will be looking forward to starting on the Beyond Light launch, November 10th. So first things first, the goals. You need to provide pursuits for all players, seasonal pursuits that match each season of Destiny, destination pursuits for each new destination in Destiny, ensure that everyone can show off their accomplishments, make all triumphs a score, and make sure it's clear on what happens when content goes into the DCV. And there's a little bit of information regarding the evolving world. And now, what are we going to do? Here's the evolving set of triumphs for the world. So first things first, reorganize triumphs to make them more compatible with our evolving world. So there's two types of scores here, career and active. So creating a career score will represent the total of what you've done in Destiny 2 overall. If you create an active score, these are the things that could be done now in the live game. Focus the generic triumphs into a leaner lifetime set, which will cover the basics of being a guardian. Organize the rest of the triumphs around seasons and destinations, and track the history of what you've done as the legacy triumphs. The next category, which we'll talk about Beyond Light, which will also include a set of triumphs that will target this year's destination, which is our brand new planet, Europa. Now these triumphs will all have the scores and also include the content on the destinations. So obviously there's going to be like story missions, strikes, raids, lost sectors, and even more secrets, which we won't get into that. There's also going to be a set of triumphs which will target Season 12's content. Actually, let me just scroll down a little bit more. There we go. So, of course, the triumphs will have score. No surprise there. We like the pattern of rewarding seasonal currency for completing these triumphs, and will continue to do so. The triumphs will stick around for as long as the seasonal content does. While active, seasonal triumph score will still contribute to your active score, and when the seasonal content is no longer available, this seasonal set will move under the legacy triumphs. So first things first, they will no longer contribute to your active score, but will still contribute to the career score. Next up, the lifetime set. This will be about teaching players all the things that you can do in Destiny. Now, this will mostly target the new players as they will join the ranks, focus on helping players explore the sandbox and game modes. And if new systems are added to the game, the pool will grow. So here's a example over here. I don't think I ever worry about the season rank or wherever else here. So we have medals over here, some exotic catalysts going here, the lore, stat trackers, seals will be going here too, excuse me. And the triumphs will be here too. Now there's two different sets of triumphs over here. So I'm pretty sure the Destiny marked thing, I think that might be the lifetime overall. That would be 8,810. Plus the triumph score for Season 12, that would be 8,810. out of 16,770 for this season. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure if I'm doing this correctly, but I'm pretty sure for the season it would be 16,771. But whatever happens, but there's two different sets right here as shown on the screen. Okay, so now we have a little bit of Q&As coming up soon, but first of all, we have some Legacy Triumphs. So what is that you mentioned? So for this year, for Legacy Triumphs, in the game, you'll remember your total Triumph score and display it on the updated Triumph screen. And remember every Triumph that was contributed to a seal and display them under Legacy Triumphs. In-game, of course, will let you browse to the seals under Legacy Triumphs. You'll also be able to equip the titles that you've earned going forward, and also have a demonstration set which will target the Leviathan that shows how it works. Now, they've also stored the completion state of every Triumph that you finished or not finished, even for Triumphs that were no longer displayed in-game. The work is ongoing to flesh out the categories that those Triumphs live in. And going forward, when content moves to the vault, Triumph sets that are no longer earnable will become Legacy. And of course, for Legacy Triumphs again, they'll contribute to your career score, but not the active score. So now we go to some Q&As right here. What about the things that could still be earned after November 10th? Here's the information that they talk about here. We'll be breaking out the Luna, short form for Moon, of course, Dreaming City, Tangled Shore, EDZ, and Nessus Triumphs into their own destination sets and keep them available and contribute to your active Triumph score. They'll also move progress into any Triumph that still exists, and in some cases, we've also reduced the size of the Triumph sets to make this easier for understanding new players, like Gambit, Crucible, and Vanguard, for example. And in other cases, we've also increased the size of the set and added some rewards, and in parentheses, a lifetime set. Next question here. Does this mean some seals may no longer be earnable? The answer here is yes. With a bunch of content going into the DCV, there are some seals and the corresponding titles which will no longer be earnable when Beyond Light is released. So here's some information here. Earnable in Beyond Light right now, well, starting November 10th, of course. We have the Crucible title, which is Unbroken. The Gambit title, which is Dredgen. A Flawless seal, of course, that's only earnable in Trials of Osiris, which I'm pretty sure will be coming back in Season 12. The Conqueror title, and that's only obtainable for completing every single Nightfall on Grandmaster difficulty within that season. The Harbinger title for Shadowkeep. The Enlightened title for Garden of Salvation. Cursebreaker title for the Dreaming City. The Rivensbane title for Last Wish. And there is going to be 3 new seals. Yes, trying to look up the screen there. So there's definitely going to be 3 new seals coming in Beyond Light. One for the game itself, one for Season 12, and another one is a secret. So those 3 are secret, and I cannot tell you until launch. So we have to keep those a secret. And move to Legacy in Beyond Light and will no longer be earnable are the following. The Shadow title for A Shadow Rises. The Reckoner title, pretty sure that's in Gambit. Blacksmith title, that's for Black Armory. The Wayfarer title for the Destinations seal. And the Chronicler seal for Lore. Plus the seasonal titles, that's 5 through 11. Next question here. Oh, sorry, this is the last question. Beg your pardon. What were you saying about metals, catalysts, and lore moving? Well, we have some information for you here too. Metals and catalysts will now have their own sections to make them more visible and easier to keep track of. The lore will also have its own section and a brand new UI to show off the book covers and improve the reading experience. Next, all lore up through Season of Arrivals will be available to all players. The game will still show how many of the pages that you earned, but everyone will be able to read everything right now. So for example right here, if you want to see this out of this many pages being earned, you can go earn any missing lore pages before the end of the season. And new lore will be unlocked through Triumphs going forward and eventually made available to everyone when they become Legacy Triumphs. So there you go. That's how the Evolving Triumphs will work starting November 10th when Beyond Light will launch. And two things before we go. First things first, we have our next Iron Banner coming your way, as Lord Saladin will be heading back into the tower on the next weekly reset. That's running from September 8th through the 15th. There's a quick little paragraph for newcomers, of course. There's a look at the armor set you'll be going for here, and along with the 2 weapons here. Now remember, if you haven't done the quest yet, you still have time to get this done. It just feels like every time I'm trying to do commentary, I hear a nice little ding right in my ear. Felt like there was another notification. So, as I was saying, if you haven't done the Season 11 Iron Banner quest yet, there's still some time to get it done. So all you need to do is get 25 kills for the auto and 25 kills for the sidearm. They both have to be done to complete the quest line in order to obtain both of those weapons and the Season 11 emblem. Plain and simple. And finally, as promised, we have our next update for Destiny 2. It's going to be update 2.9.2. Actually, let me just go ahead and scroll down. I could care less about the next paragraph here. So there we go. So update 2.9.2 goes live this Tuesday, September the 8th. So as usual, maintenance will begin at noon Eastern Time. Then 45 minutes later, Destiny 2 will be offline. And then at around roughly 1 o'clock, the update will be going live, and then maintenance concludes at 3 o'clock. And with that being said, that is officially it for the TWAB. So I will be coming back hopefully very, very soon to update you on the second part of the Stasis Spotlight series as we focus on the Titan. So thank you very much again for watching, and we'll catch you guys later. Take care.